everyone, welcome back to part 2 of how to make a hot air balloon with papier mâché. So what we're going to do today, it's quite a short one today because it's preparation really for the next exciting part of adding colour to your hot air balloon. Now you can see that mine is dried, it's here in this bowl upside down to keep it steady, and I recommend doing that because it really does help so it doesn't roll about everywhere. So what we're going to do today is you are going to need some cardboard, and I've used the thin card of a cereal packet. So, and what I would, you don't have to do this part, by the way. This is what I wanted to do because I wanted it to have a little bit more of a neck here. So I'm going to show you this quickly, and you watch, and then you can decide afterwards if you want to do this section. So you're going to need masking tape again. You're also going to need the card, like I just said, so a bit of a strip of card, okay. And you're also going to need some paint, okay, white paint, either ready mixed or acrylic. Now you might even have some emulsion paint that your mum or your dad or somebody in your family used to paint the walls of the house. And so if you have that, that will do as well, because we want to create a nice blank canvas that makes it completely white as possible, so that when we do the colour will really show really nicely on the balloon. So the first thing you're going to need to do is get a strip of cardboard quite long, so it's probably, because we're going to roll it like that, okay, so we want the hole to be like that. It could be a bit smaller. We'll see what you've got. Now here's one I've got earlier, and what I've done is I've made cuts all the way down, quite low down. I've made the cut all the way, probably about 2 centimeters from the bottom. So if you want to draw a line first, you can. And then I'm going to actually trim off this bit because I don't need so much really, so it doesn't have to be quite so white. So there we go, I've got my strip of cardboard, and I'm going to roll it into a circle, and I'm going to secure it with a piece of masking tape like that along the edge, the bottom edge there. Okay, so that should work, hopefully. There we go. So then we've got a circle, and we've got these bits cut down like this. So I'm just going to bend them open like that. And there's double layers here, so I'm going to have to be a bit more. And tear that bit off. There we go. So there we go. And I've made a little kind of, I'll show it that way, a little kind of hat. And what we're going to do is we're going to push it down like that over our hot air balloon. Okay? Now if you do this, it's going to add more time, but it depends how perfect you want it to look. Now I want to make sure, I'm just going to cut another slit in this bit because it's not curving very well. Now I'm just doing this because I want it to have this little extra bit, but you don't have to do that. So it might be that you want to simplify this project. Now we've also got some flour paste glue. Now I use a cup of flour, maybe a tablespoon of salt or a big spoon of salt, and a teaspoon of sugar, and I use boiling water. I've just boiled from the kettle, so do ask an adult to help you, and then I just stir it up, keep stirring until it makes a nice paste. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to blend that on. So again, you're getting some newspaper strips like that, you dip them in the glue, and then you just put them over the edge. At first it won't sit very well because it's not heavy enough, so you might have to go all the way around first and then push it down a bit further. Okay, now I'll just quickly put this on, and then I will show you the next phase, which is going to be painting the balloon. Like I said, we're going to paint it white first, and that will mean that if whatever colours you use on top of it, if you are going to paint it, the colours of the paint will show much more brightly. There is the danger if you did paint with quite thin paints like watercolour or poster paint that aren't that good quality, the newspaper will show through. So this will just help that not happen. Okay, so as you can see, I've just added my spout to my balloon, if you like. This is upside down. I don't know if you realise that, but yeah, this balloon, I put it upside down, so this will be the other way around when we've finished. So just Put some dry bits over the top, make sure it's nice and smooth. Now I did notice, I don't know if you've noticed, check all the way around your balloon, because you might notice, like mine has got a little tear in it. So I'm just going to balance it like that in my bowl, and I'm going to mend the tear. Okay, so if you have that, or you have a very rough bit and you want to smooth it out, please do so now, because this is a good time just to check. Or you've noticed that one part of your balloon is very thin and it might have a hole soon if you're not careful. So you just might want to check that it's nice and smooth everywhere, and it's also, just remember, one layer of newspaper on at a time, and it's also nice and strong everywhere. Okay, so I've done that. Oh, I can see I might just want to get that attached a bit better. I'm quite happy with my little spout. It's not 100% straight, but I kind of like things to look a little bit wonky, not perfect. I'm not a perfectionist, sadly. Wish I was, but I'm not. So there we go. Just going to put a tiny bit more, and now I'm ready to paint. So here I have a palette, but you could use a plate. Okay, and in this one I've got some acrylic paint, and this one I've got some just poster paint. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a bit on this old brush, and I'm going to paint everywhere. Okay, so paint it completely white. So I'm even painting over the wet paper I've just applied. Should be fine. Okay, but we mustn't have any bits that are too bumpy or flappy. Don't want any flappy bits of paper. That will not be a nice, smooth surface for you to paint on. So you want it nice and smooth. Okay, I'm turning as I go. Now this bowl to hold it is definitely worth doing. Oh, I don't need to do that. Well, I'm really glad I did, because, you know, when it rolls around or falls on the floor, so annoying. Okay, and also my hands are free. I don't have to hold it. So please do try it with a bowl. You could. Now, if you are using any kind of acrylic paint, it is very, very important that you do not get it on your clothes. Okay, so wear an apron, or be very careful. It doesn't come off very easily. It comes off before it dries, so don't panic if you get a tiny bit on. Just make sure you check your clothes and your hands really quickly and get it off as soon as you can, because once it's dry, very hard to remove. Okay, now you can see that this bit is very soft still. Now just keep on turning until you can see no little tiny specks of newspaper. Right, so I'm just going to talk to you now about what we're going to do next, okay? So just wipe my hands on the paper, and I'm going to show you some options, because this is going to take a bit of time for you to gather together, because there are options here. Now the first option is, and you can look, it's a time for you to research as well, so I recommend that you go onto the internet and you do a Google search of Papier Mache hot air balloons, and you will see hundreds, and you'll see them homemade, and you'll see them painted, and you might even see collaged paper. Now collage is when you get paper. This is some homemade wrapping paper. This is some other nice wrapping paper I found that you could cut into sections or squares, and you could use that as your next layer and make a pattern out of that. You could use stripes or strips of this lovely paper, or any paper that you've got, to colour your balloon. The other thing you could do is you could use fabric. Now here on the table, I'm just going to turn the camera down a bit, is some lovely strips of fabric. I haven't cut them to the right size, but I could do that. In some of the research you do, you might see that somebody has made a patchwork balloon, for instance. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to go around your house and see if anybody has got some leftover scraps of fabric. Okay, so you might not even have fabric, so that might eliminate that. option for you. But if you do, I think that would look very nice. Now, I prepared 2 balloons, so I'm going to try one with fabric strips and I'm going to paint the other, okay? And for painting, you are going to need to have some paints. Now you can use any paints will do, okay? So it doesn't really matter, but ideally acrylic or poster paint, so just normal runny paints. Let me just show you the bottle I've got of my paints. What I've done with it, can't find it. So yeah, just a normal tub of paint, and you can get that from a craft shop, and some of the craft shops are open at the moment, especially the shops that sell everything. Sometimes you'll find paint in there if you haven't got any paint. So good luck with that, and if you don't have any paint and you can't get a hold of paint, what I then recommend is you find a nice colourful magazine and you cut up loads of strips or squares into nice shapes that you like, and we'll make a patchwork balloon out of all those colours. So it's really about finding what you've got in your home. Okay, so I'm going to stop there and I'm going to see you in part 3, and I'm going to show you how to paint it and also how to collage it with either fabric or paper. So good luck finding all your equipment, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye bye.